of the people in this class and put them into the exact same art school with the exact same instructor, and then look at everybody's painting like after you get done. Everybody's going to have a different painting because you found a little bit different technique the way you do it. It's the same thing here. I'm not saying welding is high art or anything like that, but it's really kind of the same idea. Technique is technique. We can show you as much as we can, but you're going to have to find what works for you. Maybe, I mean, it could be literally this kind of minutia that I may hold my rod at a 3-degree angle and you may hold your rod at a 5-degree angle and it works better for you. It could be that little bit of a change. It may be that you've watched some guy on a YouTube video. I've got guys that have done this. There's a popular series of videos out there. The guy that runs the blog Welding Tips and Tricks, his name's Jody. He is a really good TIG welder, and he does things differently than what I do. He kind of does this little back and forth motion when he welds. I don't do that. It works. There's no issue there, but it might work for you. I've had a couple guys go, man, I'm trying to do it like you do it. And then they watched the video over the weekend, came back in, tried his technique, and said, yeah, it kind of worked a little bit better. Okay, great. No issue. It's not that it bothers me or anything. Just find what works for you. That's all it needs to be. As long as it passes the evaluation, then it's a good weld. And that's already a fixed standard. So as long as it passes that, there's that technique doesn't change the quality of the weld per se. There's there's other things. I mean, if I show you a vertical in a MIG and then you just did it like and spot welded all the way up, you can make it look really pretty, but it's not a good weld. So we might call you out on something like that. But other than that, have you seen people do that before? That's a way. It's the way a lot of people that don't know how to weld in vertical fake it. So. Alright, so here's the new one for everybody. How your grade is computed in this class. This is a little bit different than what we've been doing. And this is going to be a little bit more organized. It's going to be better for everybody. So, if your class is a designated lecture module, so the lecture module really doesn't change, your grade will be based off of an exit quiz. And again, even if you don't opt to take the quiz early, you still have that option that at the end, if you don't pass the first quiz, you can take the second quiz, but it's going to be harder. So we've only had that happen a few times that have done that, but it works out. I've had nobody literally fail classes. Okay, so not that I have that big of a sample. It's only been a year, but it's been pretty good. So when a passing grade is complete, you'll be able to move on to the next module. So here's the new one. If this class is a designated lab module, your grade will be based off of a grading matrix. You will evaluate your competencies along with the instructor. You will need a 3-ring binder to keep the finished and signed grading sheets. Those will be turned in when all projects are finished for the module you're taking. The final grade will be entered when these are reviewed. I will not be accepting any projects without the sheets. The sheet is this, and there's a copy here, but the sheet basically, there's going to be a big stack of these, probably on the computer desk right there, that every time you finish a project, you're going to grab this. This is a checklist for you to go through and evaluate your own weld. Now this is where a lot of the terminology comes up in 100 and 101. So if we're going through this, you don't know what the term is, don't worry, you're going to learn it. You will eventually know it. So, safety. There's a 10-point system for safety. So you're going to go through and check this off. The first one is PPE. What is PPE?
Personal protection equipment.
Personal protection equipment. There should be no reason why this is not a full points on these 4 things, okay? This should be an easy 10 points. Unless you go, well, I did weld these in flip-flops. Not a good idea, okay? We've had people walk in with flip-flops before. It's not me making something up. Equipment is in working order. If I find out, if I go over and look at your machine and the rod holder is all busted apart and there was bare metal open and you went ahead and welded your piece anyway with it, that is dangerous. Those insulated pieces are made for you to be protected from the electricity. So if you didn't change that, that is going to be a deduction. It's not that you may not know how to change it, but I'll show you how to change it. That way if you change it again, you need to change it again, you'll know. You get out in the field, nobody's going to be standing there waiting with parts, You're going to have to change the parts anyway, so you need to learn it. The lab rules were followed. Now next week, when you go to sign in, there should be a stack of lab rules. I'm revising the lab rules right now. Work areas are cleaned and tools are returned. This is a big one. We are going to have a mass cleaning back there. Everybody's going to be cleaning it up. And we're going to try to keep this lab as clean as we can because this is where we work. The next one, which is another 10 points, is welding, cutting, and fabrication. This is pretty simple. The welding machine was set up correctly. Cutting machines were set up correctly. Fabrication machines were set up correctly. Followed instructions, 10 points. Parts cut to correct size. We will be measuring pieces. Joints assembled correctly. If you don't know what a joint is yet, you will learn. That comes up in about 2 weeks. Position of weld was correct. Did you do it horizontally or did you do it flat? You understand what the difference between flat and horizontal? It's very easy for people to get confused on that one. Vertical and overhead are pretty easy. Flat and horizontal, people get confused on quite often. Was the correct filler metal used? Now, that might be an easy one because maybe you're in a module that literally uses the exact same filler metal for every project. So that should be an easy call point. So if all those kind of work out, if there's an issue, you just mark it and we will talk about the points on that. And then the main one, this is the 20-point system, the 20-pointer. This is the visual inspection of weld. This is a pretty high-level thing. We're teaching you how to inspect welds. This is why inspectors get paid what they do, because they know this backwards and forwards. And now you're going to know it backwards and forward. Bead width. Welding angle, arc gap if applicable, porosity, fillet weld size if applicable, groove weld underfill, joint penetration, incomplete fusion, cracks, cold lap, undercut, arc strikes, fillet weld contour if applicable, inclusions, groove weld height or overfill. These have all certain variables in our code book. Some may be more generous than others. So we will be going through that in 101. 101 is where all of that is covered. So you will know all that going into the lab classes. If there's a corrective action that needs to be taken, you need to write that down. Give me a little report on what was done. It could be as simple as you did a pipe, but you needed one more stringer bead to fill that pipe out. So you write down, added one stringer bead for cover. Something like that. It could be very simple. It could be a little bit more. But you're going to actually evaluate what the corrective action is to fix it. And then once that's all done, you sign it, I sign it. This goes in your binder. There will be a 3-hole punch for you to punch your stuff. And you then put it in your binder and hold on to it. That way we have a record for every project. But it's on you, not on me. Now, I don't have to keep track of every project. You have to keep track of your own projects. But that makes things really, really efficient that way. Because there's no question. If you have the sheet that I signed and you signed, there's no question that it was done or not. Now it's not, are you sure you did that vertical up? No, you signed it and I signed it. So there shouldn't be an issue. So this is what we need to do. All of your syllabi. If you have the syllabi, we will not be handing a ton of these out. in that binder, you might want to also keep that, because on the back end of that syllabi on projects is where all of our prints and our welding procedure specifications are going to be. Now, it's not in your 100 because it's a lecture class, but so, you know, when you just grab 130, this is the first MIG welding class. If you get past the grading part, yep. Okay. No, this was the main meat that we wanted everybody to come in and see, so. So like this, once we get past the last page, the very first thing is project 1 for 130. You'll have a print, and then when you turn the page again, you will have the welding procedure specification. Welding procedure specifications are something we'll cover in 101, but basically that is one of the jobs that CWI does. They also write procedure for welds. So that information is there. Do not lose or forget. Bring your binder to every class when you're doing the projects. And then from there, and then there's a grading scale. Right now it has A minuses, A pluses, you know, all pluses and minuses. The school itself hasn't really decided. They were talking about going to pluses and minuses. Some people do, some people don't. There's not been a big, yes, that's what we're going to do. So I put it in here, but right now we're just using A's, B's, C's, D's, and E's right now. So there's not pluses and minuses going on at this point. I figured I'd just go ahead and leave it in there just in case they made the call at some point. That way I don't have to change it. At the end of that, there may be chapters, there may be a list of lectures, there may be a list of a few things. We're doing a little bit of a revision on some of these modules, so don't worry if you don't have anything after that. Like the 100 has the chapters. We're going to be going through chapters 1, 2, 21, and 22. Those are going to be basically the meat of 100, those 4 chapters. We will be covering safety and lab rules, welding processes, terminology, weld joist positions, and welding symbols and print reading. Any questions so far? Yeah.
So I want to find out with the book, he says for all modules, even lab
Yes.
ones, so I should just buy it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Please get it.
Yeah, preferably. Because I will be using some stuff out of there during lectures and stuff, so people will be following along. Like when we're doing the visual flaws, they've got pictures in there to actually see what the visual flaw is. So you know, there's a good reason to have one. We do use it.
Okay.
We use it way more than we used to. Let's put it that way. Any other questions? Oh, everybody get it? Yeah.
I need to be here for
No, you're all set.
Okay. That's Tuesday at 6?
Yes, Tuesday at 6. All right, so, hopefully this sounds okay for you, I can't please everybody. This is, there's definitely traditional programs out there. We've really gone away from traditional programs. I'm trying to really push the envelope a little bit on what the program is. But I think in terms of job skills, literally the skills you need for a job, this is what is going to help people out. This program is going to be way more useful than the old style. And we've got a couple guys in here that were in the old classes. Do you think you're progressing better for these type of modules?
Yeah, it gives you like the space, like the opportunity to progress at your own pace,
Mm-hmm.
So like you said,
That being pushed through it.
Yeah.
I'm running just like 2 hours a week
Right.
for one.
Exactly. Like if we could say 1 week I put in like 8 hours that week and I get a lot done.
Yeah.
The next week I got some family stuff going on.
Yeah, and remember, what happens with the sign-in sheet is that really the sign-in sheet is just to kind of keep track for me. It's not really an attendance sheet per se. It's really more of a safety guard for people that have complaints at the end, that say they didn't have enough time to weld. Really, seriously, I've had that a little bit. And then I go, okay, you were here literally 6 weeks out of like 6 hours out of 8 weeks. And 22 hours per week were available to you. So it's just kind of a safety thing like that. So we have a minimum. If you're in a module, if it's 1 credit hour and it's a project class, it's 2 contact hours. So you have a minimum of 2 hours per week you gotta put in. That is a minimum. That's not necessarily what's gonna get you done, but that's a minimum. But there's not a maximum. You could literally come to literally every single one of our open labs and spend all the time you can in every open lab, if you wanted to.
So you can come in a day and a night?
Yes. Yeah, and there's really, the reason why there's a split between the two is that I just need a break. I wasn't gonna say from you guys, but I just need a break there. I need to fit in a lunch and stuff, but yeah.
So you can do more than 22 hours a week?
No. No, I think that's enough.
So, in a module, we get like a project we have to put together, weld together.
Yes.
And then we get there's booth space in there to work on
Yes,
that project.
and we're actually gonna take a quick walk through there.
Oh, cool.
So you'll kind of see what's going on back there.
And there's usually like enough room to.
We've never really totally run out. There's always some stations open. I know there's been a few times where people were waiting for a booth, but they were able to work on getting their projects all together, cutting some pieces up, things like that. By the time they were done and ready to really weld, a booth had opened up. So we've never had a point where like we had to turn away people. Now, can we get to a point where we turn away people? Yeah, if every single one of you guys came in on Thursday again like this, you might be turned away a little bit. If everybody in here was in a project class, you might end up being turned away. But I think a safe number really would be about, we've had, what have we had? About 24 is the max I think we've had before. I think we may have had even maybe a little bit more than that, but that was kind of staggered a little bit for that evening.
I think it's Wednesday or Tuesday where you do the morning and then you do the evening class. Can you go to both of them?
Yeah, you could. Sure. Yeah.
What about for lecture classes? Is there a specific time for
You know-
those since it's not a lab thing?
Not necessarily. What I'm, like I said, what I'm hoping to do is videotape them all anyway. So it might be where, maybe you come in and I have maybe like 3 things to do real quick. So it might be a half hour. So I'll let you know. I'll say, as far as a queue goes, you're number 4. This is going to take me about 30 minutes. So take a break for about 30 minutes, come back in here or stay in here, do whatever. And I'll hit you there. So there might be those times where possibly there's a little bit of a wait, but it doesn't happen that often. The start of the semester is always kind of the more stressful. We call it controlled chaos in here. Once we get everybody going, then it kind of smooths out, really. So it's usually not too bad. We've run since last winter now. So we've done 4 semesters worth before this semester of how this is kind of going, and it's been going okay. We haven't had really too many problems. We had one time where I literally had 4 different machines back there all break down at the same time, and that doesn't happen except for that one time, and it was just, I had to walk out for a few minutes before I started throwing shit around the lab because it was pissing me off so bad. But other than that, I think that's the only time that's happened. Actually, you might have been here on that day.
I know, you had a couple machines come in and all that, and you were busy handling that.
We had all kinds of stuff happen. Tanks ran out, and then machines stopped.
I bet it ran into this.
So a little bit of what's going on. This is why we have this stuff here. Really quick story here. We had 2 rooms on the other side, kind of on the other side of this wall. There's a hallway right here that's mine, and then a couple more rooms after that. And then we had a dock in the back that half of it was my storage, the other half was automotive. Well, Machine shop got some more equipment, and they kind of came to me and said, you know, is there any way you can give up a little bit of room? And at the time, I was kind of like, well, man, you know, I don't want to, but okay. So I figured, all right, you know, the stuff I've got that was shoved into one room because of when we redid the lab, I'll just move that into the store, the back dock area where I had storage anyway. I'll just move it back there, and you know, it should be okay. So that happened, kind of. That was getting ready to get going. And then automotive, without actually saying anything to me, decided that they wanted my stuff moved out of the dock area. And I said, what? What are you talking about? He goes, yeah, we need to have your stuff moved out. I'm like, no, that's 50% mine. What are you talking about? No, we're using it for a classroom now, so you gotta move your stuff. Well, that's where our tanks are. That's where the tanks work. Tanks need to be stored a certain way. We have high pressure tanks, we have oxygen tanks, fuel tanks, argon. Argon's not such a necessarily evil, you know, gas, but it's still high pressure. So there's OSHA regulations. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, yeah, we're using that as a classroom. We're gonna rip out everything in there, and that's gonna be a classroom now. I'm like, where's my stuff going? I don't know. Where do you want me to move it? I don't know. Well, who knows? I don't know. So
Did you tell them to move it themselves?
No, I still had to go back there and do it. So this stuff here was supposed to go back there. So stuff back there now is in my lab, and this stuff here is now in my classroom. So I have no idea where this stuff is going. So we're kind of stuck with that. Now, in this situation, you know, we kind of ran out of room, but I don't think that's going to be necessarily the case. We may have, you know, 5, 6, maybe 10 people in here for a lecture. Shouldn't be an issue at that point, because really most everything happens in the lab. But we do have some, you know, stuff clogging up the lab a little bit, and we'll kind of take a look at that too. The tanks got moved to another room. They're building out a couple tank rooms just outside, which is actually okay. They got to put a door in. There's no door yet. So either I have to, you know, Kool-Aid man through the wall, or or I can't use them right now. So the tanks are somewhere here. Well, they've already converted that room into another room, so I don't know where my tanks are right now.
You don't know where the tanks are at all?
No, I have no idea right now.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, so I gotta figure that out for like Tuesday.
Oh, we got a bunch of freshmen, man.
No, we don't.
Oh, God.
We're almost out of everything.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, so that happened. So you know, I apologize, but there is a lot of kind of stuff moving around. But although the tank storage, that'll be once that's actually up and running, that should be okay. It'll be a little easier to get to because we'll have a couple keys hung up, and you'll be able to just grab keys and go just out the hallway and then out and get your tanks instead of having to go through the, you know, that way. The guys that have been here, they know it's kind of a pain in the ass, kind of going through all the engine room stuff and automotive crap and trying to get to the tanks. So, and what's going to actually be nice is that now when we get orders in, we don't have to move the tanks. They move them out of the room and put them back in the room.
Nice.
So we don't have to do that anymore. So that's actually okay. But that's sometime, don't know. Supposedly there's a meeting tomorrow. Maybe they'll have some time frames for me after tomorrow. So, as far as that goes, let me quickly go